Hello, and welcome to Hope for Felons podcast, where we discuss felons and everything in between. Your host for this show is Douglas Van Vliet. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome back to Hope for Felons, where today we're doing a review on the Chester router. And I want to say, the reason that I wanted to do this video is, as everybody knows, with our organization, we try to save money. And this router is real pricey, but he was able to give us, I think it was $70 or $75 off the original price. I think the original price was $500 and something, which is out of this world. But, we have decided that we thought that this would work, and we wanted to give it a chance. But the problem is when I got the device, I think it took about 2 or 3 days to receive the device, but when I got the device and opened the box, there was no documentation at all. There's 2 different types of antennas. Did it say where to put them? No. You basically have to figure out everything yourself, which for business, it's very unprofessional to have this type of a sale without any documentation. Especially these days. These days, it should be at least a PDF file that you can go on their website and download. But you always have like a basic installation guide, and that was not there. So basically, I followed because it had like the 2-point-something antennas marked on the antenna, plus it was marked on the router. So I was able to figure it out, and I put my SIM card in and everything and plugged it up, and then I couldn't get into the settings of the router, so I had to call Chester Tech Repair. I was like, look, how do I get in this thing? How do I go about hooking everything up? So he said, well, you got to go to the website, and there's a video that shows how to get in there. And I said, okay. So I watched the video. I was able to get in there. I'd done what the video said, and only thing I could get was like a point something download. It wasn't even a meg download speed when I do a speed test. So that was really frustrating. So I call Chester Tech Repair, which is, I guess it's run by a one-man operation. But anyway, I told him, I said, this is not doing right. So basically, he was able to use a program, TeamViewer, I think it was, and he was able to log in. He made a lot of changes, reboot. He done all. We worked on this for I'd say for an hour, 2 hours. He could never figure it out. His thing was, he thought it was a bad SIM. So I had a brand new SIM card here, and I had it activated using the same company as he uses, which is T-Mobile for Business. And never could get it work right, never. But I could take that same SIM card and place it in an Inseego, and I would automatically get 250 to 300 on a download. So I was like, something's wrong with this router. It's not the SIM card, because the SIM card works good in another device. And so, make a long story short, he was like, I can send you a brand new one. I was like, well, let me think about it. Because this is frustrating. You know, when you get a device and you pay that kind of money for it, it don't come with instructions, and you just wonder, what in the world here? Why? You know. But to make a long story short, I said, well, you know, maybe I should just have you send another one. And that was really against my bad judgment. But then finally, the final decision was, I believe I'd take a refund. Would you refund me the whole thing? Well, he come up and he says, well, I'll refund everything minus the 2 shipping charges, the shipping to you and shipping back. Basically, he didn't want to cover the shipping at all. And I think if you cannot get it going through logging in the computer, doing what you got to do, you can't get it going, then I shouldn't be responsible. And he tells me once upon receiving the router that he was able to put a SIM card in and it took right off. Well, you know what? I find that hard to believe. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I feel that to be hard to believe, because if my SIM card that was in the device works fine and then Seago, then I know something's wrong with that router. May not be something wrong, but they may be settings that was wrong. And with him not being as knowledgeable, he actually said on the phone, he said, look, I do not know much about this product. He builds this product, but he does not know a lot about it. And I think, you know, when you go to the Nader Tater channel, you know, he's been reviewing this router and said it's the fastest router he's ever came across. So I was like, you know, that's possible. It may be, you know, and I'm not saying that it's not. You know, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that there's an issue. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying that it did not work for me. And then when you call them, I'm very unprofessional, because he's on the phone trying to help me, plus he's on the phone trying to help everybody else. He didn't have it organized where he could call them back to help them. He's basically trying to help everybody at one time. It does not work good that way. So I was never given the undivided attention as I should have gotten. So there was a big issue there. And I think that was one of the fallbacks as well, is that we could not, you know, could get it running. And, you know something's wrong when you can't even get a 1 megabyte on a download. But then you put your SIM card in another device and you get great download. So explain that, explain that, because I just, I have it hard to believe that there was an issue with my SIM card if it worked in another device, and I can't stress that enough. But I do want to say, please be cautious when ordering this device, because it's so expensive, does not come with any directions. You do not get the help that you need one-on-one. And I just felt that this is very, very unprofessional. And I wanted to make sure that I make a video on it. I wish that Nader Tater would come out with something similar. And because I know before he would even put it in a box, I know he'd have proper documentation. That's just the way he is. He's a very, very great person and very knowledgeable about these, all these types of 5G routers, that take a SIM. So I just wanted to come on here and give my honest review about this Chester Tech repair. I just think it's very, very unprofessional, and I wish I would have made a video while I was setting everything up, but I never was able to do that. So just be cautious, be very cautious. And I would say if you have to pay more money to get a decent router, do it. I know that T-Mobile's been given the FX2000, and it's an Inseego FX2000. That's what they've been given when you sign up for the business internet. And I'm actually a mile and a half away from the T-Mobile tower. So the Inseego Wavemaker FX2000 I never could get it to work exactly the way I wanted it, because my goal was to at least have 400 meg on a download and at least 30 on an upload. And I know that that's possible because when I would use the T-Mobile home internet device, then I could actually get that. And you probably say, well, why didn't you use that? Well, when you plug it up to a server, then there's issues. So my goal was to eliminate all those issues, which is no port forwarding, no static IP. And see, I have a static IP on this plan that I'm on with the tablet plan. So it cost me a total of $18 a month for internet for our server, which is cool. And it does good. At the moment, I'm running it off of the Inseego Wavemaker FX2000, but I just ordered an Inseego FG 2000, and it's actually a lot larger, but they said it has a lot larger antennas, a lot better, so I'll be testing that out. It's supposed to actually be here today, and I'll let you know how that works. But I just wanted to make sure that I let you know that please be cautious when trying to deal with Chester Repair, buying these routers. I think what I would do personally is wait 6 months to a year and see if his product gets better, see if they're able to start providing proper documentation, and then I would go from there. But my honest opinion would be not to buy it, to try to find another company. There's several companies out there that sell routers, and they're actually good. They're decent routers, and I will post a link whenever I'm able to check and make sure this FG2000 is good. Now, according to the T-Mobile technician that is in Greensboro, he said that this would definitely give me a lot better speed and everything with the Inseego FG2000. So I've tried to purchase it one time through Amazon. There was an issue and I never received it. But today we was able to, it's actually out for delivery, so I know I'll get it. So I just wanted to say that there's issues with this Chester router, and I would just advise to hold off for a while, at least until there's proper documentation and whatever the situation is, why that router did not work. It could not have been the SIM, as I've said many times. It has to be something with the device, and I just want to let you know. And if you have any comments or you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Hello, this is an add-on to the video regarding Chester Tech Repair. And I do want to say that I was very unsatisfied with Chester Tech Repair. Um, he actually, we sent, he first, he sent the device. He logged in several times, like I said in the first video. He tried to fix it. He blamed it on the SIM card, which I know definitely that was not the case. He was like, well, it don't have the same program, the the same plan that he has, and it was the exact same plan, I was told, by T-Mobile, but the only difference is I had a static IP on mine and he did not. So, but anyway, I was getting that point something download, and he went in there and he tried to figure it out, never could. And then he said, send it back. So I did, and he sent another one. And being that said that, I was like, look, you know, we'll try it and see if we can't get this going. So we worked on it. He sent the other one out, and actually I take that back. Right before that, I sent a brand new SIM card, but it did not have the static IP actually put on it. That's a mistake that I made. I should have made sure that it had the static IP on there when I sent it, because I believe that's where all my issues lied, is in that static IP. But anyway, when I got it back, he actually said he sent a different one, and it actually worked good. It had like a 250 megabyte download, which was the same as I was getting with Inseego, the same exact speed that I got with Inseego for $50 a month for the service, and I got it free, compared to this Chester Tech router. The only good thing about the router, well, I can't say nothing good about it, because the fact was I could never get it to work. And then when I would contact him to set everything up, like the static IP and the port forwarding, he's like, well, I'm sorry, I don't use port forwarding, so I don't know how to do it. Okay, that was a no-no, because if I was going to sell anything, or if anybody's selling something, they should know everything there is about that product, so when they call for technical support, they will be able to fix the issue. And I believe that's where the real problem arises, is because he does not know anything. He might know a little bit about the basic setup, but he does not know how to do port forwarding. And the bad thing, the way this thing is set up, is when you go do the port forwarding, you cannot go in and change that individual port. You have to delete it and re-enter it again, which with most good routers, they come with great software where you can go in and you can change that without having to delete the whole thing. So I was really bummed about that, because it did not work well, and with his knowledge is not any good. So I recommend nobody to deal with him. I know Nader Tater, he does have a video out, and he said it's a very good. And I want to say, if you're just going to use it just for home, you're probably going to be fine. But if you have to do any port forwarding for games, or you have to do anything like that, I would say stay away from it, because it's too many problems, and with the seller not knowing everything about the product, I would say no, because it's actually made in China. I done research and found the same router in China for a lot less if I wanted to purchase it, and he's basically importing it and put his Chester Tech symbol on there of the cheetah. But I just wanted to come on here and explain to you that it's not a good service. And you know what? Even after all the issues that we had with the device, he actually deducted, when I asked for a refund, he deducted all of the shipping labels, even the first one when he sent me to the last one that was sent. Every one he deducted from my refund. And I don't think that's right, especially if he don't know what in the world he's doing, and you know, he expects us to assume the price of the shipping labels. And I think he either needs to stop selling the device or learn about the device. And I don't know how long he's been selling it, but I would encourage everyone to talk to Nader Tater and let him know that, you know, it may be a good router for home, but it is not a good router for a business. If you have to do port forwarding, you have to set up the static IP, because as soon as I set up the static IP with T-Mobile, then the service, like I said, I was getting 250 megabytes on a download. It went from 250 all the way back to not even a megabyte of a download speed. So there's an issue, and it's something to do with the settings, but the settings that Chester Tech Repair told me to put in did not help it. It did not do anything. So, you know, please, you're going to do yourself a favor in the long run to look for something different. I do know that, you know, Nader Tater, he's been doing a lot of reviews on this, and I think I'm going to ask him about setting it up with the static IP. And because I've got some stuff in mind. I'm not going to speak about it right now, but I'm thinking very seriously about coming out with a new router that will support the antennas. But I do know that the Inseego, they always say that it does not support the external antennas, but at the same time, it's ran by firmware. So if somebody knows how to tweak that firmware, they could get them antennas to work with the different bands by turning it on simply. Because that's exactly the way that the FG2000 was basically the same way. But there again, you know, I know that according to the guy that runs it, he was like, well, you'll never find anything else that where you could use a T-Mobile tablet SIM and, you know, get the same. And I was like, you know what, I took that same tablet SIM and I can put it in a T-Mobile device and it will work fine. I said it's all about setting up your information in the router correctly so it will not look as it being a as a hotspot, but a router. But the only bad thing about it is you cannot change your main number. And you say, well, what are you talking about, the main number? Well, you know, on the thing it has a IMEI number, Well, on the Chester Tech devices, you can actually go in and change the number to whatever you want, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually against the law to do, um, especially in the United States, to do that and to have that option available. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it may be. But that's something I was going to also ask. Uh, Probably reach out to Nader Tater. He's a great guy, Nader Tater is. He knows his stuff. And that's why I was saying that I would really like to get a hold of him, because I did reach out to him before. He replied very quickly. But I think I may ask him about doing a review on the static IP, because there is a big issue when adding the static IP. Everything drops to below a megabyte on a download. It's weird, but I just wanted to let you know about my experience, and I don't want it to happen to anyone else. And of course, we've reached out to them trying to get the full refund. Um, and he's like, well, I'm not going to assume that because you had the wrong SIM card, which I did not have the wrong SIM card. He's just trying to justify, which I have proof on this side. If I have to put a cord on it, I do have proof that, we was legit. I put the right thing in there, and, go from there. But I mean, it's like $8 and something a shipping label times 4. So I basically lost close to $40 that he refuses to give. And I think that you're better off to try to find something on Amazon. That way it's backed up most of the time. You can get an extended warranty. He don't even really offer a warranty really with it as well. And that's one thing I sort of shot myself in the foot, because I really started not to do it to start with, and then I gave in and said, I'd like to try it and see, just because the fact that, you can put another antenna up and use it because it was compatible with everything. But when we run a web server, so if anybody knows about running a web server, and the 250, and I think I was getting like a 26 or 30 on an upload, which was great. But the fact that once I added that static IP on there, then it wouldn't work. You say, well, why didn't you take it off? Well, the way this works, and I think this is really stupid, but in order to use port forwarding, you have to have a static IP, or the ports will not forward. I'm not understanding why that is, but it seems to be an issue. And it's something that I'm going to try to work on and with T-Mobile and see. But that's where all my issues started, was when adding that static IP, because now when I had Spectrum to T-Mobile Spectrum, I didn't have to have a static IP to do the port forwarding. It just automatically worked fine. So I'm not too sure what the problem was there, but I'm still going to try to get a hold of somebody that knows and see if I can get them to give me a little bit more heads up. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit long, but it actually explains why that I feel the way that I do about Chester Tech Repair. And if you want to reach out to us, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. You can email me at dvanvliet@hopeforfelons.com, and I will get in touch with you as soon as possible. or the number, which is right up here on the screen. You can call, and I will definitely talk to you about the situation. So I hope y'all is having a great day. And remember, our organization helps felons when they get out of prison. So if you have any questions or concern about our organization, please also give us a call. Thank you.